the Adonis Arrington III, who turns a ripe young 39 years of age today while we're recording, not while you're watching, but still give him a shout out. Happy birthday, June. How you fellas feeling down there in Oregon?
Hey, well, I mean, you give me a little too much credit. I'm only the second, man. You know, the third is like regal. That's like, king status, man. So, I'm only the second. So,
It really is. And to have the triple A with the 3 is there's some inception there.
Yeah, that'd be too much. But it's my birthday. Obviously, I'm chilling. Took the day off work. I mean, that's how we living.
Boom, JD, how you feeling?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here with you boys. Even better to celebrate with our good friend. 25 plus years of friendship. We're all 39 now. My birthday was last Sunday. Ooh. And I can think back to when we were 13, 14 years old. As we say, young grasshoppers, young whippersnappers on the court and the football field competing against each other.
Hey, just iron sharpening iron, man. That's what we do. But apparently in the NFL, the iron is wearing down the iron, and it looks like everyone's darling, the Philadelphia Eagles, ain't looking so untouchable nowadays. What's your guys' take on these teams having a midseason meltdown right now?
Are we thinking that it's more about the Eagles, or is it more about just the Niners being on that hot streak too that kind of got the Eagles in that funk? I know Dallas put it on them too, but that's 2 good teams in a row. I'll admit the Eagles don't look like they're contenders right now. If you take that 2-game sample size, they look like they've got a lot of deficiencies. And is Jalen Hurts talking about wearing down? Is Hurts wearing down a little bit? I know they don't have like an official injury on him, but does that dude look 100% to anyone else?
Hey, and don't shy away from giving credit to the Cowboys either, because they're looking good right now, and you can't take away anything from their win. JD, what's your take on the Eagles skid and just other teams taking some L's?
Well, this is a total picture look. The Eagles have played the Cowboys twice, Buffalo Bills, 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs. All those teams are up on the spectrum of high Vegas odds. And if you're going to say that the Eagles went 2-2 during that time frame, I think they would take it. That's a tough gauntlet that you just ran through. So I think it's power of nutrition has always been the NFL mantra. You win the season in December.
But do you think how they lost though changes that a little bit? Because they weren't really even competitive in those losses to the Niners and the Cowboys, man. I mean, they look bad.
I don't think it matters how you lose. You still lost. L is an L. I don't know. I think Jalen could be hurt, but he's thugging it. And today they had the reports of they're out there having the football with a string on it, and they're tugging on it because they got to show people, hey, we're going to work on the fumbles that he's been having. And I think that's the problem more than anything is the turnovers compared to last year.
Well, what about did you guys catch the Monday Night Football games last week? Like, there is is this where parity happens? Are there teams that are coasting, or are there teams that are getting figured out? Do we need an in-season tournament so that teams can play hard every game? Is the season short enough? Like, what is going on? Like, these teams that we thought were untouchable and are contenders and pretenders, it doesn't look the same anymore.
Well, like I brought up in the pre-show, any given Sunday, there's a reason why that's a saying. And when it comes to a sport that's as violent as football, if you get a team that's just not ready to play, and it's the NFL where everyone's talented, I don't think it matters. If you don't show up ready to play, you can get beat by the worst team in the NFL because those dudes are still getting paid. And if they're playing hard and if they're focused and you're not, it's a wrap for anyone. And I think the focus.
Case in point.
Yep.
The Denver Broncos.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and teams get hot, and teams start to gel and form at different times, and that's the beauty of sports. And in baseball, it's always who's hottest at the end of the year, and they ride that. Teams have peaks and valleys. Another team that has peaks and valleys, they used to live in Oakland, and I think they relocated, but they still have the same fans. So are you guys familiar with that team? And what happened from scoring 3 points one week to 103 the next week? What's going on with the Raiders?
Well, again, you're giving them too much credit. We didn't even score. We lost by 3. We scored 0, bro. Okay? We scored 0.
So there is no math problem you can do to get them from week to week. It can't be like times 10, like it's times infinity, and 0 times anything.
Nah, Jay, how'd you feel about that?
Raiders! You know what it is, baby.
Yeah, and I started, like, when it was happening, as it was playing out, I was thinking, like, this probably says more about the Chargers than the Raiders, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
although catching a one-handed behind your back interception to the house, and I don't think that's a Charger problem.
And what I'm saying, I think it was a combination of the Chargers absolutely giving up. They might as well just jump to the offseason right now. I mean, I don't think I've seen an NFL team react like that. Yeah, just quit. I mean, the game's too violent. People are getting hurt out there. You don't see NFL players quit very often. And that team was just unfocused. And then you caught a Raiders team who maybe they played their best game of the year. And then the Chargers played one of the worst games of the century, if we're being honest, right? And that
you know how they say, hey, Junior, you know how they say 1, 2, 3 Cancun? Well, they said 1, 2, 3 Tijuana.
They did.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they said as ex-San Diego's. They said, all right, we're going to Tijuana, because that right there, Junior, was embarrassing. Like, as professionals.
What's
2
more
defensive touchdowns? Come on.
What was more impressive to me, I think that performance was more impressive than the Dolphins hanging that 70 burger, because it's the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. You expect the Dolphins to put up points. You expect Tyreek Hill to
run
wild.
High-powered offense.
But again, to your point too, Chris, coming off that 0 burger, you really didn't expect them. I don't care how bad the Chargers played. You would have never thought Raiders putting up franchise record in points yesterday evening. I mean, that
franchise just win, baby. Come on, franchise, June.
And they were going
some good players.
They were going for the NFL record. Now, the coach didn't outright go out and say, like, we were going for the NFL record, but he did admit they were going for the franchise record. But when they kept throwing the ball in the fourth quarter, it was like, oh, they're going for the NFL record right now. 73 or 74 points. They were going for it. And hey, if you aren't going to stop them, it is what it is. These professionals, they're going to keep scoring.
I know we don't talk fantasy on here, but I reap the benefit on this, because guess what? This is fantasy week playoffs, and I had Devontae Adams, and I'm not going to lie to you. That little catch got me a couple extra points because it put him over 100 yards. Keep it moving. Next.
Hey, I saw on Twitter one of the sports personalities was like, okay, who started Aiden O'Connell in fantasy this week? And show the screenshots to prove it, right? And people were screenshotting like, I didn't start it, but I played against them, and now I'm about to lose in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like,
dang. Playoff implications.
I think it's great.
All right. Yeah. Hey, that's enough. That's enough with this Raiders talk.
Oh man, we can do this all day. Come on, Chris. How often will our team go score 63 points, man?
But hey, we got listeners that there's 31 other teams out there, and it is your birthday, and it was your birthday, so there's your present.
Thank you for indulging that Raiders talk, Chris.
However many minutes on that. Let's wrap up NFL talk before we get to some hot NBA stuff. Who's your MVP right now? We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Obviously, there's been some changes. So who do we got for MVP? I'm going to turn on some lights.
Well, I have to first call out and say that I rolled with Jalen Hurts as my previous MVP choice, and I don't think he's strengthened that cause since we last spoke. I see like Brock Purdy's in the conversation for MVP right now, and as much as
I like that.
As much as I said, I think the 49ers are a little bit of a smoke show. I think Kyle Shanahan should get way more credit than anyone else. But I can't be a hater. Look, if I sit up here and say Brock's not playing out of his mind, I'm a hater, and so I'm not going to say that. He's playing out of his mind.
And doesn't it feel? It feels like McCaffrey gets most of the credit. When they're looking for one guy to give the credit to, it's McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because he's Mr. Purebred or his pops was a player or what, but I mean, he's an amazing, like, one of the best talents that we've seen, and I love that it's a white boy doing it, and we won't talk about that now.
White running back too. I mean, come on, man, you got to root for the white running back. I was
trying to explain to my kids, like, this is something different. Like,
it is.
You know, we don't talk about race in that way, but this is different. You know, like, we don't see that very often.
No, yeah, it's just I'll root for him, man. Yeah, I'll root for him.
Yeah. Well, I right now I'm good with my pick, even though he had a little meltdown the other day. And, you know, maybe he had some bad information that the guy wasn't offsides, but the memes that came out the next day were hilarious. I saw one, we'll put it up on the screen, of a dude parked at a stoplight and there was a car in the middle of the intersection. He was saying, is this offsides too? Like, come on. It was funny. It was good, clean fun. I think that I think it's good that happened to Mahomes. The embarrassment of it, I think, will kind of strengthen his focus. And the next, you know, handful of games, he's just going to come out in historic Patrick Mahomes fashion and just walk away with the MVP.
Yeah, and I think it would be awfully hypocritical of me to judge Pat Mahomes in that situation when I've had my fair share of end of the game. Yeah. You know, I've kicked a chair a time or two. Okay, you know what I mean?
Hey,
like I'm not going to sit here and judge a man for that, especially given his track record, right? I mean, the guy is generally just a good human being from all accounts, right? So, and this is a Raider fan. This is coming from a Raider fan, and again, I can't deny it, otherwise I'm hating. So, I'm with that. But I'm going to go.
You got an MVP take?
Oh yeah, JD, what do you got?
Well, I got to walk back my CJ Stroud pick a little bit. You know, he's on the concussion protocol.
But we appreciate that. We appreciate the hot take.
At the time, why wouldn't it be? But right now, you know, the Jets made him look like all the other quarterbacks the Jets defense has done this year. They made Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen.
No doubt.
They made everybody look real punitive. But right now, I mean, I know he got hurt, but what are the Dolphins without Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Most valuable is most valuable. The guy got 1,500 yards in receiving, you know? So it's a quarterback league. Just like the Heisman Trophy is a quarterback trophy now. We don't give the trophy to Cooper Kupp when Cooper Kupp wins the Triple Crown for receivers, yards, catches, touchdowns, you know, and he ends up winning the Super Bowl MVP. You know, we don't give Jokic a third MVP, but he's going to be the finals MVP. So it is what it is. It's going to go to Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, one of these quarterbacks. They're not going to give it to, you know, like Adrian Peterson ran for 200 yards or 2,000 yards. They still didn't give him the MVP.
Yeah, can we get a petition going for diversity in positions for MVP in the NFL? I mean,
that brings us back. If they're going to pick a Niner, McCaffrey.
Let's keep it a buck.
And then we'd really have something to say about white running backs. But hey, we have gone on and on.
Award.
It should be just called the most value. It should be the MVQ.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why can't we just admit that it's a quarterback award and treat. Okay, so we got the quarterback and then we've got the most outstanding player or something like that. I mean, just because. What's the point of having an award if only one position's ever going to win it? I don't really get that. I
don't get it because, Junior, how about this? Jerry Rice scored 23 touchdowns in a year. He still didn't get MVP. Randy Moss scores 25 touchdowns in a year. Yes, Brady threw 50 touchdowns that year, and they went undefeated. He didn't get the MVP. So these receivers have the best years ever, and they still don't get it. So it is an award strictly for white men because black quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes is the only one. But, I mean.
I got to say, who's won the last two?
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't think Patrick Mahomes should have won it last
Well,
year.
I'm gonna go back to what you said, like NBA. Like, yeah, I get it. Jokic probably got robbed for that third MVP just because people were tired of seeing it. But NBA, all positions are up for MVP. It doesn't really matter, right? I mean, any position on the court, if you're balling out that year, you got a chance to win MVP.
Okay,
Period.
so in the last 20 years, there have been 2 non-quarterbacks to win it.
Exactly.
LaDainian Tomlinson in 06 with the San Diego Chargers.
But what did he have to do to win?
3.
And
3.
Sean Alexander.
No, Sean Alexander the year before. And then, oh, no, those are the 2. It is 2.
But what?
Oh, no, Adrian Peterson in 2012. No, Adrian Peterson won it in 2012.
And all 3 of those had to have
spanking his child.
They had to have historic seasons for their position to win. LaDainian Tomlinson had that was the year that
30 touchdowns,
but he had he set the record for like all-purpose yards, right? In that season, like running and receiving or something.
I mean, but look at Sean Alexander. He didn't have a historic season. He was just the best player on the best team.
Yes, he did. He broke the touchdown record, and then LaDainian broke that record.
Yeah. So like, you got to be literally the best to ever do it to even have a chance at winning an MVP at a different position.
Okay. Do you guys know? Oh, what the fuck? In 1982, a place kicker won it.
Yeah, because he scored the most points.
The
Redskins kicker.
Yeah. Do you guys know the only defensive player to win it, right?
Because it was a strike shortened year. LT. 84?
Or I guess. Yeah, in 86. And then in 71, a D tackle won it. But that
different era.
71 doesn't exist.
I'm talking modern era.
Is that
man.
Danny White?
Danny White's quarterback.
No, Danny or Cowboys. I'm thinking. Who was the big white dude defensive tackle for the Cowboys?
It was Alan Page for the Vikings.
Alan Page, yeah.
Just to bring it back a little bit. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Cam Newton. What color are their skins?
Yeah, Tommy, you might have to walk that back a little bit. I would say yes. In the last 20 years, I would say that's probably not true. Up until then, yeah, I agree with you, Gitano.
But if it's a quarterback award, if it's a quarterback award, look at who plays the quarterback position.
Right, and especially
historically, and when it started to change.
Historically, yeah.
That's okay.
I like to see Mike Vick on there.
Okay.
I will walk that back. Mike Vick should have won it in 2010 with the Eagles, but Tom Brady won it again. But that was the best we've ever seen Michael Vick with. Was it Chip Kelly or was it Andy Reid? No, Andy Reid still. That year he threw that 80-yard pass to D-Bomb. Well, he played for Chip Kelly.
I know, but Chip Kelly's teams weren't no good, man.
Those teams, those Eagles teams were fun to watch.
The first year in Philly, Chip Kelly was playoffs. The second year, boo-boo. So, moving forward, I'll walk that back.
Okay.
But because there's representation now in the NFL with quarterbacks that look like us.
Yeah. Steve McNair.
You included, Chris.
Yep.
You included, Chris.
Hey, speaking of people that need to walk stuff back, man. Looking like Draymond Green needs to walk his entire life back.
Whoa!
That's a fire transition. I got to call out that transition, Chris. That's fire, bro. Okay, I give you that.
I've been everything you guys have said. I've been waiting to transition to NBA, and so I've had one ready, no matter what. Hey, but so I predicted he was a dumbass, and he was, when he got Gobert in the headlock, I was preaching. Just like when I said Scoot Henderson sucks, I was preaching, and then JD finally last week was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I see these things, guys. Pick up on it. But Draymond has a problem. The most he's ever been under a microscope, and it wasn't LeBron in the finals. It was last year with Jordan Poole and the teammate punch, the friendly fire he had that was on some TMZ shit. Since then, where we literally deconstructed his life, he came out as a changed man. Since then, he's still been suspended 3 times.
Stopped on,
and finally they just said, "Dude, you need help, bro." Teammates are coming out, former teammates. Everyone is saying something's wrong with this dude. Do you guys agree something's wrong with this dude?
All right, Chris, can we upload and play the clip? Because Klay Thompson's reaction is like, oh no, what are we doing, Draymond? I tagged you guys in a post on Instagram of all the reels of Draymond and his antics, and it's like his nickname, he needs to go to the WWE. He needs to be out there with John Cena, The Undertaker, and Hulk Hogan. Because this guy is under the New World Order. All right. But here's the other caveat. I'm just asking. My other caveat is, are we soft? Because Kurt Rambis gets clotheslined by Kevin McHale, and they don't even call a foul. Or a technical.
So here's what I'm going to say.
Keep it moving.
I don't think
Are we soft?
I don't think what Draymond's doing is even what they were doing back in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, like look. Yes, they were hard fouling people, okay? But they weren't putting people in just straight up headlocks, other than like when they would get in like and there was just more just scuffles in general. Like you could fight a little more in the NBA then, but like if we're talking about just like hard that hard play, I feel like it was still within like the spirit of the game. What Draymond's doing isn't in the spirit of the game, man.
It's like he's trying to get into people's heads.
Washington going up to Rudy T. That's in the spirit.
He's trying to disguise. He's trying to veil his fight. Right. He's trying to make it look like, oh, it was a natural. Well, I just threw my hand and hit this guy as hard as like dog. If you really like, just throw a punch. Just fight somebody, and let's go from there.
But here's the problem I have with that. Then, so Chris, look who Draymond like instigates against, like Rudy Gobert, Jordan Poole.
He knew LeBron wasn't going to fight back.
Bro,
Sabonis would have dropped him.
I'll tell you what.
Nurk's soft, but
the court, I want to give Nurk some props here because if Nurk wanted to put hands on Draymond after that, I'm sorry.
Draymond won't be breathing.
Nurk's putting hands on Draymond if he wants to, and you know his response.
That's the Bosnian beast. Come on.
Nurk's response in the press conference was like, "I'm just here to play basketball," and it's like that's the perfect response. Like
that's professional. Yeah,
he said something's wrong with that brother. And that comment actually like was better than anything he could have like been angry about, like because that was like, oh, he needs help, and that kind of started that conversation and probably led to the decision. Yeah. Another thing that happened in the NBA this past week, in the news of petty and questionable and funny and entertaining. So Giannis dropped a career high of 64 points, albeit in a backhanded against scrubs at the end of the game way. And he wanted the game ball.
Absolutely.
The Pacers were like, oh, no, we had this rookie that scored his first NBA point, and we're going to give him the game ball instead. Side note, the kid actually scored a point in the in-season tournament championship game. So it doesn't go down as a stat, but he technically scored in the NBA. I think that's all just a big veil for fuck you, Giannis. Fuck you, Bucks. We're Central Division rivals. We ain't having that on our court. We're not having that against us. You're not taking this ball. I think it was awesome pettiness. I think it was spearheaded by Rick Carlisle. What'd you guys think on that?
I'm not willing to go the petty route, man. I mean, do we really think they're trying to keep that 64-point game ball from Giannis like that, man?
I think if he didn't score the career-high points in garbage, like against scrubs, it would have been different. If it was an honest 64, it was kind of a shady 64.
Like how Kobe needed 81 to beat Toronto.
Exactly. Like in the course of the game, or when he scored 63 in 3 quarters.
That's cute.
Yeah, well, we always give Wilt Chamberlain his credit for his 100-point game, but there's people on record talking about it was like essentially orchestrated, and you know it was really just a game plan to get him that record. So like, I mean, look, when you talk about high scoring games, I think once you get to a certain like point, it's like, okay, let's go get this, right? I mean, I don't really think that's against sportsmanship. Like,
it's just a decision. It's a personality thing. Like. So Barry Sanders, I watched the Run Barry Run doc, and he would purposely not get records and say, don't put me in the game because I don't want the attention. I don't want to dishonor this person that currently has the record. Then fast forward today, you have the Niners playing Christian McCaffrey against the Carolina Panthers when the game is over to get him in the end zone to keep his touchdown streak alive. So it's like it's almost a taste or is it tasteful or distasteful? I think if you're forcing it, that's distasteful. If it happens naturally, it's respectable, and it's the way the record should be kept track of, man.
Well,
To piggyback, that's why we love Barry Sanders.
Boom.
Yeah, well, and I already supported the fact that the Raiders were going to go for the 73-point record earlier today, so I can't backtrack on that, right? And but I agree. Like you got a full fourth quarter. Try and get that record. Look, if it doesn't work out, okay. But I'm not going to knock the coach for trying to go for that record. And it's like I'm not going to knock the Bucks for trying to get Giannis that record when he was close. It's like, okay, if he was 20 or 15 points away, it's like, all right, man, pull it. But like, you need a couple buckets, man. Let him get it.
Yeah, I mean, you see that with triple doubles a lot when dudes just need one rebound or one assist. And having to watch every single Blazer game for 10 years, like it happens a lot, especially when dudes who don't get triple doubles, and they're that close. You see teams doing it.
And the NFL record for points is 72. So yeah, the score to that game when the Washington Redskins scored was 72-41. So, I mean,
yeah.
Why not try?
Yeah.
I think the records are made to be broken.
Yeah.
I think that the Dolphins should have went and got it. I personally believe if you're there on the cusp
if you're there,
of greatness, go and get the shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Or don't change your game plan to not. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
Just keep doing go through the motions, run your game plan. If it happens, it happens. But don't intentionally try to get it or try to avoid it. Something pure in the middle.
I love the line that Herm Edwards said years ago. Hello, you play to win the game. I got a paycheck. You got a paycheck. Stop me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Period. Yep. That's all there is to it. When Zion went up for that 360 windmill dunk and Chris Paul got mad, well, play defense then.
Yep.
Don't just roll the ball out there.
I mean, that's where it comes down to a personal decision, I think, if you're –
Well, hey, Chris, guess what? We all get a paycheck out here. We all get a paycheck right now for this podcast. We're making money from it, all right? So guess what? Stop it. All right? I'm just saying.
Okay, but hold on. Before you move on, though, Chris, can I just say, I think it is kind of corny, though, getting those high-scoring point games when you're shooting like 35 free throws. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. I mean, and he had to hit 75% of them. I get it. But dude shot like 32 or something free throws. That's ugly, man. That's ugly as hell.
Yeah, that's almost as distasteful as gunning for it when you're playing against second team. But speaking of distasteful and the Pacers lost in the in-season tournament to the Lakers, who are the most distasteful franchise on the face of the planet. I'm just joking, JD. How you feeling, man? Champ? You guys hung the banner. You're feeling really good. You're feeling like you won something? I mean, I thought you only hang championship banners, not these little JV participation
This is a championship. It's called in-season tournament championship. This is what Adam Silver said, okay? I'm going by league rules, okay? Like LeBron said, if there's competition and a tournament, I want to win it.
But
yes or no?
Yeah, but it's still it's like here's a little like you're gonna put up if you get the best record in preseason, you're gonna put that banner up too.
Oh, Chris! Now Chris is hating, bro. Now Chris is hating.
Okay, well, what I'm gonna ask for every other franchise, not including these 5 franchises: Lakers, Boston, Bulls, Spurs, Miami. I don't think it's that big a deal because those teams have won 3-4 multiple championships.
I see what you're saying.
But for other teams, right?
It'd be corny.
It's a big deal.
Oh, no, and for other teams, if you were like, yeah, we won this, but we haven't won a real chip, then it's like,
Nah, man,
Yeah.
you act like if the
Right.
Blazers would have won, you wouldn't have been out of your damn mind, bro. You be on this pod talking all kinds of like, oh, Blazers, we coming, we winning with the first, in season tournament winners.
I would have
like,
been talking, but if they hung the banner, I would have been like, nah, bro. That's where
you
the
draw the
gold.
line.
That's not for the silver.
You draw the line at the
But
banner.
this is league rules. The league
They don't
is
have.
making
They don't.
us
They're not
hang it.
required to hang the banner.
All right, so all full disclosure, just real quick. The Lakers are the only franchise, and Boston, right? We don't hang Western Conference championships.
That's
You
what
go
I'm
inside the Moda
saying.
Center, you see division championships. We didn't win
Oh,
the
that's
division so
cool.
many times. We lapping y'all 10, 20, 30 times. This
That's
right here
fine.
is
So if you're
greatness.
that great, why
Greatness.
banner for a 2-game tournament?
Because we're going to keep winning this shit. That's why.
It's not a
Nah, that ain't
2-game
gonna
tournament,
happen,
bro. I mean, okay, I understand the semifinals.
Literally a
finals.
2-game tournament. But, okay.
but what I think the point we're missing here is that y'all keep talking about old shit. Okay, this is new. This is a brand new thing. We are changing the narrative here, and it starts with the first winner of this tournament. And if this thing keeps rolling, I mean, I see this thing being successful. I think they should make some improvements, like small tweaks, but I think this thing is here to stay.
Yeah, and I think another thing that's here to stay is the Spurs not being good, bro. What happened?
Hold on,
18
real
games.
quick. I gotta ask you a question. I gotta ask this question though.
You were saying how much we stay on the same topic. I'm trying to move us along.
No, we're still short. I gotta be long on the tongue because I gotta ask this question. Does the tournament have some type of relevancy because LeBron turned it on?
That's not even a debatable question. LeBron,
yeah, of
people
course.
are going to watch LeBron more than any other player in the league.
Well, and he only won the MVP. If he didn't have that dunk at the end of the game, he wouldn't have won MVP, or it would have been a lot more questionable. He was pre-designated to win MVP for being Vegas's golden child, who's going to bring an NBA team there in 3 years.
Okay, so I got another caveat. I want to ask you guys this question because I was really disappointed when I watched Zion play against LeBron because LeBron played him like a veteran. He came up and got the charge on LeBron, and I could see the play happening 2 steps ahead. I'm like, oh, LeBron's about to take the charge from on Zion. So I'm wondering if you guys watched those games because to me, I watched Milwaukee get beat by Halliburton. And
oh yeah, Halliburton
looked decent.
Halliburton was the darling until they ran into a team that actually schemed against him.
Yeah, they trapped him.
It,
yeah,
where
they trapped him.
AD should have won the MVP solely for the championship game.
Yeah, he
AD
dominated.
40 and 20. That's a great game. But
he was playing like the AD that all of his critics want him to play like.
I've never seen him play that
in
good.
the biggest game.
I've never seen him play that
and
good.
It was great.
And LeBron was playing
at
outside of his 3-point percentage. LeBron was playing at LeBron numbers the whole tournament. So why do we give him the MVP? Because he's the darling and the golden child for the next team coming to Vegas.
And it's great. It's great. We can transition, but I just wanted to talk about that because I wanted to see because if the Lakers lost to Zion, I'd have been like, all right, Zion, you know what I'm saying? You done turned off the OnlyFans, you know what I'm saying? You done put down the honey buns, you know what I'm saying? And all that, and you really want to play. But really, what I see is New Orleans needs to trade his ass to New York and get something, or he needs to be out of New York.
He doesn't have the competitive fire. He doesn't have that. Yeah. He doesn't have that dog in him.
He has what AD has. He has some bitch assness.
But even AD, man, when he gets in the zone, AD's a competitive dude. Like, he's not backing down from people. Zion is just like not even aggressive at times. And it's like, you can't be that big and not you. Like, your thing has to be being more aggressive than everyone else because you're so much bigger and stronger. If you're not playing to that aggressiveness, what good are you?
Stronger, not bigger.
Well,
speaking of bigger but not stronger, I think Victor Wembanyama is a really fun dude to watch, but his team is not winning games. I think Pop is overrated as a coach. I'm just joking. What's going on? It's just growing. Overrated. No, he's not. It's just growing pains, or what?
No, I can tell you, it's been tough watching Y'all, look, I came on here and said that my expectations were low and to temper them. And I tell you what, even with a tempered expectation, I don't think anyone saw a 19-game losing streak coming, okay? So I think you got a couple things happening right here. You thought some of your players you had were going to develop faster than they were.
Who?
Namely, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, and you thought
Vassell's playing all right. It's Keldon Johnson that I thought would be better.
Is playing.
He's playing okay, but he's just still he's still inconsistent. He's and
was he a lottery pick?
Technically, I think he was like the last pick in the lottery or something like that.
Keldon Johnson's weird to me because he's like 6'3" power forward or something weird.
He's listed at 6'5", but I wonder if he actually is. But the problem with Keldon is
6'3".
He can't play any defense, and neither can really anyone else on the Spurs team, unfortunately. They're getting better, but they might have just miscalculated the nucleus of the team, and maybe just all of those guys that they drafted aren't really fits together. And I think that's what they're seeing right now is just that they thought they were going to gel, but they haven't gelled, and they can't really shoot the ball at a high level. Even Vic, I mean, shooting like 20% from three. They can't shoot the ball at a high level. They can't defend the three-pointer, especially at a high level. That's a bad recipe in today's NBA.
How about this, though? The other Popovich, tree is Monty Williams in Detroit. And what is Detroit doing? They done lost 20 games in a row, too.
Yeah, but
but that's Detroit, dog. That's expected.
But they got a good roster, too. They got a number one overall.
But it's Detroit.
Cunningham and Ivory
no,
and the
but
Thompson
dog,
twins.
Come on. Did you really just compare Cade Cunningham to Victor Wembanyama? Come on, dog.
And also,
yes, they were both picked at the same slot where the comparison stops.
If we want to look at recent history of NBA teams that have kind of started from the bottom and then they relied on the draft to build up, I think we can all look at like OKC. All right. So that's the blueprint,
Absolutely.
Right? But
they did it right.
But they were terrible for three years. But
that got them Chet. That got them a bunch of dudes with the same name.
Right. So I'm just saying, back to the Spurs.
Child molester.
Maybe they got one or two.
That?
I'm just saying, maybe the Spurs got one or two
Josh Giddey
terrible seasons left.
Oh yeah, but it was like legal in Australia or some shit, right?
I'm not going to speak on things I don't have all the details about. If reports are true, it's unfortunate. I'll just say, okay.
Hey, what did he say? I'm 19. Stop lying. You can go ask my mama.
Yeah, no, man, well, no. But I think, what you can't say is that Vic doesn't look special when he's out there playing, because he does, and
he's special. He's special. Yeah. It's just fun because they're losing. And one of your teams is losing, so you can join the misery with me. Although it was really fun to watch the Blazers-Clippers game, seeing Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe in their bag, bro. Like those two are going to be really fun to watch. Talk about building a franchise. I like Ayton, Jeremy Grant, Thibault, Kamara, Simons, and fucking Sharpe. Like that is a team in the next couple of years. You just got to get rid of Scoot, dog.
We got to talk about Scoot though. But okay, here's the thing.
We got to talk about it. Trade up.
It's too early to
Nobody want him.
No. It's too early to pull the cord, right? You really think it's
no. You know why you?
I would have never gave him the cord. I would have kept him in the umbilical. I would have put him back in the belly. Like he doesn't deserve an umbilical. I've been said this. I saw 3 highlights when they were doing the NBA draft highlights from fucking Jay Billis. Like, I was just like, who is this dude? I knew right then he's not going to be fast enough. He's not going to be strong enough. He's not explosive at the next level. He's barely getting past G League dudes, and he can't shoot. Like, he's not the guy. So, like, I would cut him. Like, I mean, you can't do it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I would just get rid of him, take the pressure off of Chauncey Billups from having to play him, and build the actual core of this team. That's my
something about the explosiveness, and that's what makes Dame, like when he was younger, Dame's explosiveness to the rim. I mean, the guy did the 3-point dunk contest. You know what I mean? Like
he did all 5. He did all 5 All-Star Weekend competitions in the same one. And no one's ever done that, and no one talks about it.
So Dame's explosiveness we don't talk about. but he did miss the dunk a couple weeks ago for a game winner, which was kind of funny. But I agree. Like,
I mean, dude's in his
I
30s.
agree, Chris. I agree though, because man, Simons, if he can stay healthy, that has been the
He's
problem the
so
last couple of years.
nice.
He's been
so
hurt.
nice. And you can see so
That
much
is the
Dame.
problem.
You can see so much Dame in his game. His little quick step backs, is like that's all from playing next to. That's the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. Like that was so like
Yeah.
I can see it. Like there's a piece of Dame still in Portland through Simons.
Yeah.
And
And Shaden Sharp is next level, dog. Like dude's only 19 or 20 or however old.
Yeah.
But casual too. He's got veteran casualness. Like, oh yeah, I just dropped 30, no big deal. And he's wet. He's got a jumper. Like everyone's afraid of him dunking on them. It's nice. I just don't want Scoot to mess it up. So,
well, Simon's next step, though, just like any player that wants to go from good to great, right? Everybody's got skill. Everybody's got talent. It's that consistency. Are you doing it almost every night? And that's where Simons hasn't shown it. And a lot of it's for injury, right? How do you build that consistency when you're out of the lineup, every couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
And that was the problem. And that's why the Blazers, like, they were in that transition, Chris, real quick, though. Because I think that the Simons Dame is a better connection than Dame McCollum, because I think Simons' potential is better than McCollum's potential.
Yeah.
But the problem is,
for
and
sure.
if you look at CJ's been hurt too. Yeah. Collapse lung. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, it's been the same thing.
You just reminded me. I told KJ about this the other day, but I remember being at it was like fucking Lady Gaga concert at the Moda Center, CJ's rookie year, and he was hurt, and we were in the same suite, and I was with like Crystal and her sister, so he was like trying to, what's up, girl? And I was just shooting the shit with him, and I was like, hey man, but you keep are you injury prone? Like I said that to CJ, like to his face, and I think it caught his feelings a little bit, and I wasn't wrong, but
but that label, funny. Is there a worse label for a professional athlete than injury prone?
No. Well, I mean, if you like, Steph Curry shook it. He had Pringles for ankles for his first 3 seasons. Monte Ellis was the dude. But I got 5 minutes left, I think, on this podcast, and I got a couple things to rip through before June's got to celebrate his birthday. We got things to do Friday night. We're doing it for you, the viewer. We're taking time out of our Fridays to tell you about some stuff going on in the world of sports. Quick transition from big hoops to little hoops. LeBron James Jr., a.k.a. Bronny James, he graced us with some court time the other day. My only takeaway from that, dude's way bouncier than I thought. He's springy, like at like 6'3" or something like that, and he's grabbing shots out of the air, and he doesn't have his dad's size, but he's got his dad's athleticism.
That was a great game. Marcus Sionis from Jefferson High School put up 28 with the King courtside. Bronny had the chase down, the James family tradition block.
Yep.
That was pretty clean. And did you see the ticket prices for a USC men's basketball game?
Pretty expensive.
Pretty expensive.
What I want to talk about is Bronny's just kind of like his attitude towards life and like wanting to succeed. I think it would be real easy for LeBron's kid to just be like, oh, I'm never gonna reach that. Let me just kind of like not do that. Dude he could have taken that health scare and been like, all right, I'm probably,
like, Dad, I tried.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pack it up. But the dude's got generational wealth in his family, and he chooses to work that hard to try and be a great basketball player. And I think, I think people call him overrated a lot, and he got ranked higher than he should have coming out of high school for certain things. But what you can't argue is, dude looks like he's putting in the work, and he looks like he's committed for someone in that position as a young person. I want to commend that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we talk about real quick? Hold on, Chris. The man was dead 4 months ago.
I'm saying, like, I don't know too many young people with that kind of commitment and drive to come back and try and work through that and still try and play. I think the dude
and like, to your point, to be on the brink of death, to be dead, but have a health scare that could potentially cause death, when you don't have to do anything your entire life
Yeah.
but you're still like, I'm gonna take the, I'm gonna do this.
Well,
That says a
yeah.
lot, and you're right, Junior. And I think his other kid, Bryce, may have taken the former, what you were talking
And I
about,
don't think
where
there's anything
I
wrong
can
with
just
that
skate
route.
by.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything
Yeah,
wrong with that
but
route
now he's
either.
hooping.
Yeah.
Now he's hooping though, so like,
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't. I would probably do the same. I would bounce back and forth between I'm going to try hard today and I ain't doing shit today.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I got that kind of drive. You hand me a couple mil tomorrow, I'm gonna try and make it work so I don't have to work again, right? Like, I mean,
Exactly,
that's
man.
just how it is, man. But so
But
yeah.
listen, Bronny out here making his own money because he got that NIL.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's just good to see.
He's got his own checking
He got that
account.
NIL.
It's good to
But hold
see
up,
a
I
young.
was at the employee store 2 weeks ago, and they had a USC jersey, and I looked behind, and it said James Jr.
Yeah.
He's getting the bag.
Yeah, and it's just good to see a young black man that seems to have his head on his shoulders, and again,
Why does it matter what color his skin is? Dog?
Commitment, man, commitment. I'm just throwing that out there, okay? You know what? Hey,
no, you're not wrong, bro.
Representation. We need good role models of every color, Chris. Okay.
You know what? You know what else this is doing? Yeah. You know what else this is doing? It is December, and we're talking about college hoops. And there's this theory, this school of thought that no one cares about college hoops until, the last week of February, maybe the first week of March, and they start seeing buzzer beaters from, teams making the big dance in their small conferences. They're like, oh shit, I got to get a bracket. Why do people only care about college hoops in the latter half of the year? I have a take on that, but I want to hear JD specifically than you, birthday boy.
One and done. When we grew up, when we were, let's just say, elementary school for us, first, second, like that time was the prime of college basketball. We had the Duke, we had Allen Iverson, we had Ed O'Bannon, Marcus Camby, the Kentucky, Arizona. But we gotta know these guys for
Eddie
4
House.
years. Arizona State, Mike Bibby, Miles Simon,
Jason Gardner, Gilbert Arenas, Lauren Woods.
Like,
Conference
these
of
guys
Champions,
gotta
baby.
cook. You know what I'm saying? They gotta get in this. They got in the cooker, and we slow turned them. You know what I'm saying? Christian Laettner, like NBA career, maybe a bust, but if you look at his college records, it goes Lou Alcindor, Christian Laettner. I don't know what other hierarchy there is when it comes to college basketball, but it's Lou Alcindor and then Christian Laettner. And that's who we grew up with. Christian Laettner played in 4 straight Final Fours, 2 straight national championships. Like, Duke was.
I would put Bill Walton there, my guy.
Whoever's below that.
I would put Bill Walton
Hayes
there.
And all the other guys, Bill Russell, all those other guys. But Christian Laettner was at his peak powers. You know what I'm saying? Hitting game winners against UConn, Kentucky,
JD, I'm with you on the Christian Laettner thing, right? In terms of career, I would put Pete Maravich in that conversation too.
He's number 3.
And he only did 3 years. But
no 3-pointers.
Yeah, exactly. When the freshman couldn't play on the actual team. But I think Christian Laettner's greatness in college is masked by the fact that he was selected for the greatest team assembled of all time and was like the who's that dude on that team. And that's what gets talked about. And if he was never added to the dream team, I think his legend would be so much bigger.
Well, that was just a weird thing for Christian Laettner to be on the dream team. It's just kind of weird.
They cursed him.
But back to the original question, I want to go down memory lane a little bit, Chris. When we're talking about college basketball, 636 Jasmine Circle, College Hoops 2K8. I mean, I know we talked about playing that option attack in the NCAA football, but College Hoops 2K8, man, we ran so many hours on that game, bro. Like man. And so
was that the one Adam Morrison was on the cover?
No, I can't remember who was on the cover.
I think he was 07 or 06.
Jay Will or something.
Yeah.
Odin. Greg Oden was on the cover.
Oh, he got the curse. He got the cover curse, man. That's what happened to him.
But I will say,
Junior,
what's up?
Was college football or college basketball the video game Junior or JD? This dude created a spreadsheet after they stopped making the game, and every year would manually add in players as freshmen that were added so we can continue to play the game of college. Was it hoops or football?
College hoops 2K. I updated the roster for like 3 or 4 years after they stopped
manually.
Hey, and I bring that up just because like I'm the outlier here because we talk about does anybody care about college hoops? Well, I'm your guy. I'm watching college hoops all the time. I'm watching and mostly like okay, I'm watching UCLA. Like I'm definitely gonna watch UCLA, but like I'll throw on a University of Portland game, right? A Portland State game if I see, you know, and I got access to it. I'll watch all local.
It's kids that are trying. It's kids that are hooping.
Yeah,
like,
and
they're not getting paid for it, and they're trying to show their best.
And it's a different game.
No, they're getting paid.
It's a different game, though.
They're
like
you
got NBA and college hoops, and they're not the same game. They might have similar rules, but they're not the same game. And so when I'm watching college hoops, I'm not looking for NBA games, right? I'm looking for who's playing good defense, who's got good ball movement. You know, it's just like those things. Who's playing with that energy, right? Because like you said, like they're kids. They're playing with that energy, and that's something you don't get a lot from NBA games, even when it's not March. But I understand the sentiment. It's tough for the casual fan to get into regular season college hoops, and I think part of that is because the tournament is so good. It's so good that the other product it makes the other product look so bad because the tournament is just so fun. And so it's hard.
They need an in-season tournament. Oh, the Maui. Oh, they already have it. Yeah, it's still.
They need something that means something. No, they need something that means something. Outside of those initial first weekend tournament games where they're on national TV and they're playing good competition, then they have the tune-up games. They're playing the D2s or the barely D1s. Then they have regular season play. Then so like there needs to be something that takes us from the more, the one they have down in the Bahamas, or the PK80, which is bullshit. They don't have it every year.
Yeah.
But they need something between then and the last 5 games of conference play that keeps us entertained. Is it a programming thing? Like, I mean, they have League Pass for NBA, so I just flip it on and I know what games are on. Like, college is you got to search for it. Maybe it's a programming thing.
I think the competition is just not as good as what we grew up with. That's why I started with.
I don't know, man. Like, that's nostalgia goggles.
We don't see grown.
That's nostalgia goggles, though.
No.
Well,
let's be honest, Junior.
JD,
this is basketball, right? At its purest form. When we watched a Kentucky versus Utah that had Keith Van Horn and Andre Miller, these were men playing ball that were still in college.
There's another element to that.
We're getting AAU basketball, which is a little bit better, with a little bit better coaching. That's what this is. Period.
JD, I gotta. Okay, and there's two comments on that. One, there's AAU in the NBA. Shaden Sharp, Anthony Simons, like that's AAU. They're playing the AAU hoops, just at a very high level.
And they're getting their ass whooped by LeBron.
Okay, bro. I don't know that we needed that. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, of course, 19-year-olds are losing to 38-year-olds, 39-year-olds. Wait, is he 39 yet? No, we got a week. But I think it's the one and done is the reason, but it's not because they're not grown men. Maybe that's part of it. It's the familiarity. It's like having to relearn every year. Okay, who's good? Okay, who's good? At least in football, you have to play 2 years. And it's
3.
It's 3. I thought it was 2.
Yeah, well, if you redshirt, it's 2, but you have to.
Larry Fitzgerald redshirt
3 years. Yeah.
But anyway, it's the familiarity. So 3, even cementing that same point is. Yeah.
I agree.
It's like when you're watching a TV show and you binge watch the first 4 seasons. And then you have to wait a year for that 5th season, and it's like, oh, I gotta catch up.
Yeah, I might not even make it to that 5th season, right? Like I might never check back in.
You know what I'm saying? That is asking me to do so much work. That's what college hoops is. It's like every year I gotta catch up. Oh man, I haven't watched this show in a while. Ooh, let me recap. There's no recap. There's no hit recap. Skip recap. That's my take on college.
Okay, but my question would be then: is college hoops less popular now like today than it was 20 or 30 years ago? I mean, do we even know that to be true?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I
But the
studied
numbers
it.
don't say that. The numbers don't say that
That's
until February, March, because these TV deals are billions of dollars. Now you got it. When we grew up, right, it was CBS. Now you got it on TNT, TBS, True TV, and CBS. Now you got $1 billion contract on 4 different stations.
yeah. I would say I would say it's the other way around. I would say the NCAA tournament is more popular than it ever has been, and it's more
because that's all we care
and it's
about
more
now.
accessible.
Because they put all of their marketing, all of their sponsorship, all of their media dollars behind that.
Yeah,
And
but I
that
can
is the
watch
reason
every
why we're
game.
talking about it now. Because they haven't, it's the man. It's the man's fault. It's the
Well, I'm
white
just
man.
saying I can watch every game of the NCAA tournament on my computer, right? I can have 6 windows open of different games. I can watch every single game. 20 years ago,
Boss button.
20 years ago, 30 years ago, you were limited to whatever was on a certain network. You know how many untelevised NCAA games there were 30 years ago? Like, that's wild, man.
The favorite line was Brian Gumble. Let's get a live look at
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think it's a combination of all that, man.
Yeah.
But speaking of Brian Gumble, we know him by name because he's an announcer. And if you're good at your job as an announcer, we know your name.
Yep.
If you're good at your job as a ref or an official or a line judge or whatever it is, if you are trying to keep order of the game, should we know your name? I say no.
Absolutely.
I leave it to you, my guys.
Well,
Should we know your name as an official? And let's lead that into a larger officiating discussion real quick.
I mean, I said it in the pre-show, man. You know, exactly like you said it. If I know your name and you're an official, we got a problem. Even with NFL, like Ed Hockley made a name for himself. It wasn't necessarily because he was a bad official. It was because he was unusually huff for a referee. Okay, like I mean that was so like I'm gonna kind of take that out of the conversation. But you know, the whole Scott Foster thing is I don't know how the NBA. I understand refs have a union, and hey, union strong. I get it. I got a union too, man. I'm with it. And so like you can't just say stay home, right? But like it seems like it's a real danger to me to have situations like Scott Foster in the NBA. I mean,
you know what's a danger? You know what's a danger? The reputation of Tim Donaghy.
Yeah.
Did we forget that?
Yeah.
The fucking ref is betting on games.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's enough unions in the world that would make me feel comfortable that they ain't doing some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we all, right, watching the sport be like, this shit's rigged.
Yeah.
Right? I think we've all said that, right? You know,
I mean,
Thursday night's football game was very historic because guess what? Thursday night's crew of officials was all black.
Yep.
That's the first time that's ever happened. Again. Why are we talking about? Yeah, we're going to talk about race. All right?
I'm just messing with you,
what we do in America. All right,
100%.
This is part of America.
I'm just fucking with you guys.
Know? But why we know the referees' names? Do you know why? It's because they put it on the TV. Because back in the day, they didn't put it on the TV. Now they start the game. Today's officials are such and such.
Yeah, but
so that's why we know the officials is because of the.
I disagree. I disagree.
People are retaining that.
Yeah,
bro.
I gotta disagree. Disagree.
Yeah, like Joey Crawford. They say everyone's names, but we only know Joey Crawford, Scott Foster, and Tim Donaghy.
Yep.
Hey,
Just gonna say.
What's a short, bald-headed dude that kissed Charles Barkley? He was the best.
Dick something.
Yeah, Dick LaBetta. All right.
DeVetta.
Yeah.
Loretta.
What I'm saying is that TV is made officials popular. Right? The slowing down of the cameras has made us pull out our goggles and be like, oh, he was offsides, Kadarius Toney. All right.
Well, you know what else? JD, the fact that they have jersey numbers and we have smartphones, we can, as fans in attendance, it brings you to that next level. Hey, Scott, that was terrible. Like, you hear your name. It doesn't matter how much you are trained to be professional. You hear your name, it's going to catch your attention. So they fucked up putting numbers on officials. These should all be fucking blurred out.
00.
Yeah.
Yup. Hey,
The thing for me though, real quick, hold on, is the
I had a transition.
NBA cannot allow they cannot have Chris Paul and Scott Foster. I'm sorry.
Oh,
We
Scott
can't
Foster's the
harp
worst,
that
dog.
enough.
It's not just him though, too.
Yeah.
It's like Fred Van Vliet has like like an ongoing beef with the ref too. Like it's like, hold on, man. It's not just one person, man. That's wild.
But
Yeah,
they
it's
showed
the
the numbers
worst.
on Scott Foster and Chris Paul. He hasn't won a game ever.
There was
Like,
somebody.
that's
Hey,
bad.
when I was working in the Blazers PR department, I had to look up a stat. It was me and my guy Aaron Grossman, and we had to look up our record against Scott Foster, and it wasn't good because Mike and Mike wanted it, and because they wanted to use it on the
I'm
broadcast.
just
Like
saying.
we were the stats guys. Yeah.
King,
Um,
that's real.
Speaking of zeros and stats, that was my transition earlier. A lot of double zeros. The richest motherfucker in the sports world, soon to be richest.
In 10 years.
Oh, something. Oh, Otani got paid, and he got paid on a firm or shop or whatever payment plan you would like to establish at this point. Dude got nothing. And the Dodgers is like, hey, we'll just put it on the credit card, dog. We'll get you back.
Yeah.
What's up? What's your take?
They put that. Hey, Junior, they put that on that black card.
What's with the race stuff, man?
Hey, I
Why's it gotta be Junior?
I'm not going to sit up here and be like, I even understand why they did it. Like, why did they do that? Like, what advantage does it serve?
Why did he agree to that? Why did he agree to that is the real question.
He pushed for it. It was
because
his
he
idea.
wanted to play for a team. Honestly, you know how much content was out there that said, I had no idea who this guy was till I saw he signed for $700 million.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows who you are unless you play for the Yankees or the Dodgers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also word on the street is the Angels didn't offer him enough. Like he went back to the Angels, was like, look, I'm gonna get this 700. Y'all, do you want to give me this 700? And they were like, nah, essentially. And it's like, okay.
Artie Moreno was like, next.
Yep. That's exactly. Yep.
I mean, they got Mike Trout. Mike Trout was their guy, and then this landed in their lap.
But you also got to think
MLB that close. But
you also got to think this dude is maybe like he's more popular than LeBron James is in America in Japan, right? Like he is.
Oh yeah.
Like he is like the best athlete ever to come out of Japan.
But how do you
right?
capitalize on that as a franchise in America?
So
how do you capitalize on that?
He doesn't have to capitalize in America. He has to capitalize in Japan.
No. As a franchise who is trying to sign him, what is the value that being popular in Japan brings to you? That is the question.
I don't think of that. I think if you look at him as a position player, how can he help us win? All right. So look, this is how the contract breaks down. He's got $350 as a hitter. He's got $350 as a pitcher.
If he pitches.
So now you put it together, he got $700 million. That's how that works for Shohei.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay, JD.
That's how all right. But the crazy part about this contract is that he got 700. Mike Trout got 425. Alex Rodriguez signed for 275. That's the difference between those two contracts, which is crazy. LeBron James in his NBA career has barely made $300 million. This guy's about to make $700 million.
Well, I'll say about to eventually.
About to.
You ain't about to, dog.
It's guaranteed though. Like they got to cut the check.
Will make that.
They got to cut the check either way. So like I mean, it's guaranteed.
Baseball is wild, dog. You guys remember Bobby Bonilla?
Yeah, it's still
July 1st.
They still pay him.
Collecting.
He's still got a few years.
Fleeced them. I wish we could all be Bobby Bonillas.
The New York Mets said they actually have. There's been. This is actually good for teams to defer it. Other teams have. People been deferring money, but now that we're looking at their contracts and everything is Googleable, we can see what people are making. The 10th man or the first man on the roster. We know what you're making.
Which is weird, dog. Like I can't look up how much you're making.
It is. It's very weird that professional athletes' salaries are public, and I know they say
as company officials. Same as company officials at publicly traded companies.
Yeah, well, but like I'm a state employee, So my salary is also just public. You can.
Bro, I got that Glassdoor account. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, my salary's official as well. I'm a union.
Yeah, so they can go look at, because you have to bargain it, so they can go look and say, okay, yeah, you might be. They don't know where you are on your step or like what level you're at, but they know your salary range at least for your role, right?
Your pay band.
Yeah.
Union electricians, right?
They got some wild stuff up here in
48.
Washington. I guess in Washington now, you're legally HR wise able to ask about other people's salaries, and you're not supposed to be judged on. I ain't going to do that though. But like, there's some weird Washington sucks.
Well, in Oregon, there was a law for a long time where like it's actually like it's technically illegal to discuss like salaries openly, like in an office. Like you can't just be like talking like what people like. You can't ask somebody like what they make. Like for a long time it was. I don't know if that's still true though.
Hey, bro. You know what's funny? You guys know on your license plates on your cars, those stickers.
Mm-hmm.
What are those called?
Was it registration tags?
What was the second word you said?
Tags.
You know what they call them in Washington, bro?
What?
Tabs. Like the drink, tab.
Oh.
Tabs. All the other 49 states call them tags. So up here, anytime I'm trying to talk shit about Washington, I'm like, hey, I'm about to go get my tags renewed. and
you got to do it every year.
Yeah, every year. I mean, my shit's expired as of November, but I'm going to do it in a couple weeks, you know?
Please tell me those rates are lower then if you got to do it every year at least.
No, we don't have income tax.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where we pay for it.
Yeah.
The guy got, hey, last thing on Ohtani, if I were Nabisco right now, or if I were Ohtani, I would go to Nabisco and say, let me get a special edition Ohtani, not a baby Ruth. Let me get an Ohtani. A baby Ohtani or something like that, because no one else has done what he is doing since the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like since Mr. Sandlot. You know what I'm saying? Like
but then dude just had Tommy John surgery though. Like his pitching is it's in doubt, man.
Ain't nobody knows who he is anyways. He's a myth.
I think the low key part about it, real quick, he's a New Balance guy too. That's fun.
Oh, him and Jack Harlow.
I mean, your argument that no one knows who Shohei Ohtani is, though, is I gotta fully disagree with that, bro.
Nobody knows who he is. The common man doesn't know who he is. The sports fan does, but the common man doesn't. My wife knows who Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James are, but they do not know who Shohei Ohtani is.
They do.
It's not Shohei.
Say the name right.
Yeah, I gotta disagree. I think you are underestimating his star power.
Okay, guys, here's the deal. We got homework. Talk to 5 people that are not your friends, but you encounter them, maybe coworkers that are not sports fans. Ask them if they know Shohei Ohtani, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant. You'll get 3 yeses and 1 no. Guarantee it. Okay, speaking of shit. I got no transition, but the Heisman got robbed from Bo Nix, man. It got robbed from the Northwest, and they gave it to some dude from LSU, and one of you guys on this show called it, and I'm going to let you talk about it for a second.
I just want to say that's a real West Coast bias right now, Chris, because I would love
ours bias, baby.
I would love to say that he got robbed, and I want to say at the time we talked about it, I do think Bo Nix and Penix were the leaders. But I told you, Jaden was putting up those historic numbers, and he just kept doing it. They were scoring 45 a game.
Okay, but dog. If Georgia would have beaten Alabama, we wouldn't be talking about this because LSU, like, I hate that everything rode on that Oregon-Washington game. And that then it's like, okay, then who's the next best after Bo Nix? You know what I'm saying? Like, if we would have taken care of business, we wouldn't be having this. Like, this would have been way up in the talking points. We would have been talking about Bo Nix as the Heisman.
Bo Nix doesn't win that Heisman still. I don't care. I think Daniels he turned it up those last 3 or 4 weeks, and I think he surpassed him.
You know what you said about the NFL MVP? I say the opposite for the Heisman. With no stats
Chris,
in front of me.
Next topic. Transfer
portal. Transfer portal. Holler at me about the transfer portal. Transfer portal.
Well, hey, we
Is
kind
the
of talked
transfer
about it.
portal?
This goes back to our college hoops. Goes back to our college hoops.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I feel the argument that we don't know these players anymore. It is too difficult to keep track of who's on what. For football, you got 53 dudes or whatever, 70 dudes on a college football roster. Like,
100.
yeah. Who's keeping track of all these kids moving around? And like, I'm not even gonna hate for the players. Man, I wish those rules would applied when I was playing. Like, maybe I would have transferred, another time or two, right? Like, but
get your money.
And he said another time or two.
I know, right? Yeah, but
guy. Hey, I got a real quick trivia. The last 11 Heisman winners, how many of them were white?
Joe Burrow.
No, give me a number.
Baker Mayfield.
Give me a number.
I say it's probably split. It's probably like 5 to 6 or something.
Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. So 2.
2.
Yeah, 2. Baker Mayfield.
It's the inverse.
Joe Burrow.
It's the by the conversation we had earlier. It's the inverse of the NBA or the NFL MVP. Yeah, I mean,
I like how you bring that back to full range, Chris. Right there. That's a
I'm just saying.
Right there.
I'm just saying.
That's a pro's pro. Swipe the black card, Junior.
There you go, man. Y'all can have the high. Okay, now, hey, Junior, JD, no influence. Give me a one-word answer. JD first. Would you rather have the Heisman or the NFL MVP?
Heisman.
And it's not even
Junior?
close. Heisman. It's not even close.
So quit bitching about the NFL MVP.
Man, that's a good setup, though. It's a good setup.
Got it. Man, let's wrap this stuff up, man. Okay. What was your, JD, put in here, what was your favorite Christmas gift as a kid? JD, I assume you have a something for that since you put it in there. I'm going to think of one while you speak.
It was 1989. I got the Nintendo.
Taylor Swift?
Duck Hunt. I remember. I remember getting the Nintendo NES, and we were in Sun River, and I remember standing up to the TV, not back here, but on the TV playing Duck Hunt and just being like, bop, bop.
Bro, stop John Moranting me.
Yeah, I know, right? I feel attacked right now.
You're going to get us canceled on YouTube. I'll have to blur that out.
That was the first, that was my favorite gift as a kid, was getting the Nintendo, playing NES. Like, come on, we all,
June, you got one?
It's the go.
I mean, I wish I could go a different direction, but like every single memory of gifts, we're talking about Christmas when I was a kid, revolved around a video game system. And so I gotta go with, I want to say, I say Super Nintendo was actually bigger for me than
dog, this is fun. Keep going. Tell me why.
Because Street Fighter 2, bro. Bro, getting the Super Nintendo with Street Fighter 2 on Christmas was too lit, man. We had the whole apartment complex in my dad's. We had 15 kids in my room playing Street Fighter 2 tournament,
bro.
Man. It was wild.
Hey, June, have you watched 8-Bit Christmas?
Nah.
Watch that tonight, or not tonight because it's your birthday. Tomorrow night with Olive and Christy. You'll love it. It's literally about a kid, the one kid in the neighborhood that gets the gaming, that gets the Nintendo or whatever, and he's the god of the neighborhood. What's funny is, guys, as far as I can remember, my favorite Christmas gift was an N64. So
that's wild. That's wild, man. That's good.
Because and here's why. My parents chill, right? But we didn't have cable and we didn't have video games until junior high, bro.
Yep.
And I remember getting the N64 and it was our first console. And I'm playing Mario World, bro, for the entire time I was not in school or sleeping. That was life.
Yeah.
And it was the first 3D game too. That's crazy. We all had Nintendo as our top stuff.
Real quick though, honorable mention for me was getting my Game Boy.
Game Boy.
Another Nintendo product.
Yeah, the Game Boy was lit, man.
Throw that in there. because you said that, Chris, I had to throw that in there. Getting the first gen Game Boy in
You have the first
1994,
gen.
and guess what? I still have it. I still have
I'm
my
gonna send me a
first gen
picture.
Game Boy.
We'll put it up. We'll drop it.
Hey, you know why you still have it, and
I'll
it
send
probably
a pic.
still works, is because they've been
They built
shown
like
that
Toyotas.
the manufacturing quality of the original Game Boy, it was overly manufactured because they didn't want people to like drop them and then break, and so like they're built like tanks, and they really don't break very often, even
It's
as
like
old
a
as they are.
Toyota.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys know their U.S.
Hey,
headquarters is right up here in Redmond, Washington. Like, I get
did
like
you guys
job
ever
postings and
watch the
Nintendo all the time.
Tetris,
Go work.
the Tetris movie about how
I
Tetris came?
tried. It wasn't for me.
Yeah, it looked
I don't
intense
think they
though.
had good enough actors.
It looked intense.
Because that was the game that came with the Game Boy was Tetris.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you could get a bundle with like the Super Mario one too, though. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the default game was Tetris. But hey,
Tetris is still lit.
hey! I just want to say my Spurs are smacking your Lakers like 10-28 right now as we're
Right
recording
now?
this. I just want to throw that out there because I know we're going to end up blowing that lead and losing it. So I got to at least gloat right now while they're up almost 20. So.
Hey, Junior, no different than when you text me saying AD just sprained his ankle really bad and the Lakers were up
I
25
know.
and the Spurs almost came back to win.
I know that was, but hey, I didn't think he would come back. Hey, we got to give props to AD for that.
28-12.
Hey, fuck that. We got to give AD props right now because he rolled that. His ankle hit the ground, man, and he shook that off, and he played a monster
In the
game.
chip?
No, against the Spurs.
No.
Against the Spurs like 2 days ago.
Oh, I ain't watching the game.
Street clothes Davis.
Yeah.
As Charles Barkley.
Hey, he shook off the ankle roll. I got to give credit.
Hey, I want to wrap it up. On the pre-show, we were talking about JD wanting to fly to Vegas to watch Jodeci in concert, and I think that's just an excuse to go to Vegas because you can watch Jodeci in Tacoma, Washington. But Junior had a fun story about his potentially very first concert. I want to hear that, and then I got my first concert, and JD, I want to hear your first concert, and then we'll let people go.
Well, the story goes, I was around 10 years old, and it was during the height of MC Hammer fame. And I know people kind of talk bad about MC Hammer nowadays, but back then he was the biggest thing in the world, and everyone wanted to go see MC Hammer. So they were doing a concert in Portland, Oregon, with MC Hammer, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, like SW. It was like the blackest concert Portland had ever seen. and I wanted to go, and my sister wanted to go. And my dad was going to take us both. My sister threw such a fit. She cried for like an hour. It was like, I don't want my brother going. I just wanted to be our thing. And my dad caved, and he didn't let me go to that concert, man. And it was heartbreaking. But I will say I kind of made up for it because my first concert that I actually went to was in middle school, and it was the Hard Knock Life Tour. And that was one of the most lit.
Bro, that was my first concert.
That was one of the most.
That was my first concert. Why'd you steal my thunder?
Concert. Method Man, DMX,
Redman,
DMX, Ja Rule,
Jay-Z, Ja Rule.
Hey, Jay-Z came out in the Damon Stoudemire jersey.
1999, right? 1999. Bro, that was my first concert too. That was my first live music. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, that was like the biggest thing that happened. Again, I mean, you want to talk about biggest concerts? That thing was huge.
Bro, were we in the same venue at the same time before we knew each other? I never knew this about you.
Had to have been, bro.
Because they didn't do multiple shits. They just did a one and done.
Nah, those concerts
this ain't Taylor
were rare.
Swift.
Those concerts were rare.
That was at the Coliseum.
Yep.
Was it Coliseum or the Rose Garden? I think it was Rose Garden.
No, I think it was the Rose Garden.
I think it was the Rose Garden, dog.
No. The Hard Knock Life Tour came here with DMX, Method Man at the Coliseum.
I'm
look it up.
I'm fact checking.
Okay.
Google it.
Either way,
I'm willing to put some money
it was
on
lit. And I remember Method Man and Redman, they said, hey, we about to turn out the lights. So if you got some weed, blaze it up now because the police can't see you. I remember them yelling that.
Hey, bro, we are both wrong. We are all three wrong. That was at the Civic Center.
No, it's at the Coliseum.
No, it wasn't.
It says Civic Center. It says, bro, they have the 1999 Hard Knock Life Tour show dates here.
All right, so question. All right, here's the one thing, because I went to that show too. I have the sticker still of the source cover that they were passing out in front with DMX, Ja Rule, and Jay-Z on the cover that was going to be the Murder Inc. I still have that sticker. But my first concert that I remember going to was that same summer, and it was the Velvet Rope Tour with Janet Jackson and
Oh
Usher.
yeah. I remember that Velvet. Yeah, my mom and stepdad went to that concert. Yep.
Bro, that was 99, man. This is crazy. I do think it was the Rose Garden, though. It wasn't no Civic Center.
It couldn't have
That's
been
the convention center, right?
It was the Coliseum, bro. I'm willing to put everything you want to bet on that. It was the Coliseum.
Well,
what's your nicest pair of
I
J's?
promise
What's your nicest pair of J's? I'll put it on right now.
What you want, cuz? I got a fucking rack.
The only thing I'm willing...
Hey, I got a rack, too. I got a couple racks.
Nah, the only...
Size 12.
Hey, I'll put on the size. I'll wear 2 pairs of socks. What's up?
All right, y'all.
I got them cords.
Hey.
I just got the new
Hey.
Yeah, you get the side. You get the side. Hey, bet. My guys, it's been great. Junior, happy freaking birthday, man. Adonis Arrington the second.
There we go.
What's up? JD, happy birthday to you last week. Guys, we are on the road. We are on the road to 40. Let's do some fitness challenge or some shit, like some corny white boy shit.
Yeah,
Come
I'm
on
with
now.
it, man.
Let's
I'm
do
with
that.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's check into that
new
new
black card.
Let's do it. He slapped the black card on the white boy shit.
All right, y'all. Happy holidays.
Guys. Hey, be good.
We'll catch up soon. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace. Hey, June really did.
Hey, all-time show right